I think it was a valid knockdown. I do. I don't know how much that would have changed the fight, but I do think it was a knockdown.
Pro boxing fans here in London for the press conference announcement of Natasha Jonas versus yourself, Mikaela Mayer. Mikaela, how are you? How's life? I nearly got knocked over by a camera just then, but how's life? How's things?
Everything's going well. You know, I'm happy in camp, training hard, feeling good, enjoying camp more than I have in a long time because of the weight. So.
Yeah, you're smiling, which is always a good indication. First of all, I want to talk about the criticism online for your English roast.
That wasn't my English roast. That was your guys' English roast. You served it to me. So, I mean, I didn't particularly like it, but I'm sure there's better ones out there.
To be honest, I just saw what I saw online. Let's talk about this fight. I know that you've been waiting for an opportunity like this since the Alicia Baumgardner fight. You know, you've been waiting for a world title opportunity on a big stage. Here it comes at a different weight this time. Like you said, you look comfortable, you look happy. What do you need to do on January 20th to ensure that you beat Natasha Jonas?
Just be myself. Honestly, I feel like I'm boxing better than ever in the gym. I think I can accredit a lot of that to the weight cut because I can think clearer in the gym and sparring. You know, I'm not just worried about running out of calories in round 3. Like I can think now for a whole 10, 12 rounds of sparring. So I want to use that and take it into the fight, and that's why I'm pushing for 3-minute rounds because, you know, I'm a strategist. I want to play out the full strategy and give the fans a true boxing fight.
That was going to be one of my questions. When you a fighter like yourself who can fight on the front foot and the back foot, has a strategy in place, how hard is it to fight in 2-minute rounds?
It's becoming harder. I feel like I'm outgrowing them because I'm growing so much as a fighter and developing my ring IQ that when you really start doing that, hitting that level, it makes 2 rounds a lot harder because maybe you don't start off as fast, right? You have more time to feel your opponent out, which is what the men do. And I think continuing to force us to fight at 2-minute rounds is holding back that evolution and that growth, that ring IQ, that growth.
I mean, we saw Amanda Serrano sort of fight a 3-minute round fight. Is there something that you're just gonna have to get the rest of the fighters together and sort of push a voice, one big voice to everyone to say, listen, we need 3-minute rounds in 3-minute boxing now?
I mean, the petition I signed with Serrano was that it becomes a choice, right? Because I don't think every female can handle it. I don't. I still think there's a handful of women, especially at the lower level, that aren't ready for that. But there is also a handful that are. There's a handful of us that can make it happen.
In the UFC, the world title fights are 5 minutes, 5 rounds, so they add a couple of minutes on. Do you feel like world title fights now for females should be 3-minute rounds then? Could you push for something like that? Yeah,
that could be a good solution. That's why I'm pushing for it for this fight because me and Tasha both have the experience, you know, like there's no reason not to do it. We're both, you know, she's a world champion, I'm a former world champion, been in big fights, we're Olympians, we have that amateur pedigree, and so, you know, we're mature in this sport now.
Let's talk about, I do want to talk about female boxing because it could be a situation for yourselves where if you beat Tash Jonas, is few of the belts on the line in the same division. Jessica McCaskill against Sandy Ryan. Looks like that rematch is going to happen at some point. We don't know when. But is that something that you're eyeing up? I know as a fighter you only look at your next fight. But is that something that you've got in the back of your mind at the same time?
Yeah, of course. You know, I want to continue to unify. Still have a dream of being undisputed. So, and also I just want to fight big fights. At this point, like that's my ultimate goal. The belts are nice, undisputed is nice, and all that. But I want to make the big fights happen, and that sort of comes with the territory of chasing down the other girls with the belts.
Do you want to talk about, obviously, your rival, Alicia Baumgardner? Do you want to talk about a statement she's put out in regards to the claims of her failed drug test and her defence towards it? First of all, have you seen that? And if so, what did you make of it? No comment. That's fine. Do you want to talk about Katie Taylor?
No, I mean, I'm thinking what everyone else is thinking. You can't clear your name by yourself. So, I mean, good luck to her. She's got her own problems. So, yeah, next question.
Katie Taylor, Chantelle Cameron on the weekend. We saw Katie pick up the belts again. What do you make of her performance? There was a lot of talk about a headbutt. There's a lot of talk about a knockdown in the first round. Did you get time to watch it? If you did, What do you make of the performance?
I think it was a valid knockdown. I do. I don't know how much that would have changed the fight, but I do think it was a knockdown. So, and there was holding. I think that one of the reasons Katie lost the first fight against Chantelle is because she let Chantelle bully her and push her back and get her against the ropes. So that was one of the adjustments that Katie made, was to hold her ground in the middle of the ring. She doesn't necessarily have the best inside game, so maybe that was her defense, was to hold. But that's on the ref to kind of only let her do that to an extent, right? So at the end of the day, I think she won the fight. But I'm looking forward to the trilogy because I predicted Chantelle to win that.
I do quickly want to talk about two fights stateside. David Benavidez is beating Demetrius Andrade on the weekend. A lot of call now for this fight with Canelo, a big Mexican clash. How much do you want to see that fight? He said, listen, if that fight doesn't happen, I'll move over to 175 a fight. Beterbiev or Bivol. He's looking for the titles, but what do you make of that fight if it does happen? Benavidez versus Canelo.
I think it definitely needs to happen next. Definitely. There's no reason why not. Like, it's going to be a great fight. The fans want to see it. God, if I had to put money on it, just because Benavidez has that height and that reach, and he's just so big, and Canelo's got to get close to you to land, right? So I might put that on Benavidez.
Final one, and there is a fight announced for December. Regis Prograis, Devin Haney. Give me your thoughts on that one.
It's going to be a good fight. One thing about Devin Haney is that jab is really hard to get past his jab. So, but I'm a fan of Regis. I don't play anything past him. I just hope he has a good game plan to close that space, because otherwise I feel like Devin Haney will just stay on the outside and pick with the jab all day. So Regis got to close that space quick.
Cool. Mikaela, always a pleasure seeing yourself on this side of the show. And we'll see you on Fight Week on January 20th. Thank you so much for giving us a bit of time. Thank you.